Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Today is October 18th. The Guardians win an instant classic and a must-needed win for them. And the Dodgers are one win away from a trip to the World Series. Let's talk about it. Hello, everybody. My name is Steven. This is the middle of the order. How are we doing today? The end of the week. It is Friday, and what a week it was for baseball. 6 games for the postseason, 3 from the ALCS, 3 from the NLCS. And we're getting closer and closer to the World Series. It starts what would be in a week. Unless both AL and NLCSs can be finished up by Saturday, tomorrow, then it would start earlier. But if not, the World Series would start a week today, Friday. So we're pretty much here. We're getting into the final bit of the 2024 season, and I am excited for it. The games this postseason have brought us so many wonderful moments. And I'm assuming they're going to keep on coming from here on out. We are in line for a great World Series, so there's a lot of great stuff happening right now in the game of baseball as the other sports, start up, continue up here. Football season in full swings, hockey's getting going. The NBA season starts up next week as well. So a lot happening in the sports world. October, one of the best times of the year for sports, in my opinion. And that being said here, let's dive on in and start talking about the games that were. And we'll start it off with the Mets and Dodgers, the NLCS. Of course, we know that the Dodgers took the first game of this series, but how did the rest of the baseball unfold? Well, I've got it for you right here. Game 2 of the NLCS. Sean Manaea on the bump for the Mets. Ryan Brazier getting another start as the Dodgers go a bullpen day. 33 straight innings without a run. That's the current record. Yeah, that was nice. Gone. Francisco Lindor, leadoff home run, starts the day for the Mets here, and that ends the Dodgers streak of shutouts. The very next inning, it's Tyrone Taylor who doubles in another run for the Mets, and then they intentionally walk Francisco Lindor to face Mark Vientos, and that was a mistake. Let me tell you. Oh my God. Mark Vientos launches one to dead center, and goodbye baseball. It's a grand slam from Mark Vientos. The Mets are up 6 in the second. A great start for them. The Dodgers get a first run on the board in the 5th. Max Muncy hits a solo shot, and then in the 6th, it's a 2-run single for Tommy Edman. So don't say anything just yet, Mets fans, because the Dodgers kind of come up a little bit. They cut the lead in half here, but they aren't able to score from there. The Mets added an insurance run in the 9th, starring Marte, a single. The Mets come away with a win on the road. They even up the series at 1, 7-3, your final there for New York. Now we head to Game 3, and we actually head to New York. We're at Citi Field for Walker Buehler versus Luis Severino. The Dodgers score first in Game 3. It's a single from Will Smith, followed by a sac fly from Tommy Edman. The Dodgers get 2 runs in the 2nd. In the top of the 6th, how do you like your Kike Hernandez as he hits his 2nd home run of the postseason? A 2-run shot to double the lead for the Dodgers. And then in the 8th, Ohtani-san, a 3-run shot, all but certainly puts this one out of reach. In the 9th, good luck, Max Muncy. He goes deep once again. Back-to-back games. The Dodgers go back to their shutout ways. They get a big one on the road. They shut down the Mets. 8-0 your final there. They take a 2-1 series lead. Which brings us to the 4th and final game, or the 3rd and final game they played this week, but it's Game 4 of the series. Yoshinobu Yamamoto heading off, starting the game for the Dodgers, while Jose Quintana gets the bump for the Mets. How about starting this game the same way you ended the last? Ohtani, leadoff bomb, gets the Dodgers going early, but in the Mets half of the first, it's Mark Vientos that matches him, his 4th home run of the postseason. That ties the game up at that one. Top three, Tommy Edman comes through. It's an RBI double from him. And then Kike Hernandez is a single to make it 3-1 Dodgers. The Mets get a run back on a fielder's choice from Nimmo in their half of the third. And now in the fourth, it's Mookie who doubles 2 runs in for the Dodgers, and he wasn't done there because 2 innings later in the sixth now, it's Mookie. He blasts his 3rd home run of the postseason. It's a 2-run shot. The Dodgers starting the run away with another game. Top 8, 2 more runs on an Edman double, and then a Will Smith single adds 1. 3 more runs score for the Dodgers in the inning. They are now 1 win away from a trip to the World Series as they win this one 10-2. Whew, boy, Mets, be worried, man. I don't know. Grimace isn't working out anymore. What's the next magic here? We're going back to the pumpkin. Do we bring something new in? Because this Mets magic is fading, and it is fading fast. To tell you the least, these Dodgers, man, they're coming at you. And I mean, when you look at that pitching, I've mentioned it before. It doesn't look like anything. If I'm being honest, I keep watching these games. I keep seeing these guys come up. I'm like, this is the time the Mets strike. This is the guy that is going to give up these runs. And they're shutting it down. Guy after guy. It doesn't matter. You got your back trio. That's like the scary trio. Blake Trinan, Michael Kopech, Evan Phillips. Those 3 guys, they worry me. But the guys like Anthony Banda, Ryan Brazier, Brent Honeywell, who's gotten some appearances, Landon Knack as well. These are the guys that they should be touching a little bit here, and they're just not having their way with it. It's been really unfortunate for these Mets, but these Dodgers have been kind of locked and loaded. If it's not for their starters, they're really struggling to touch them. Yamamoto, Ryan Brazier have given up runs in this series, as well as Edgardo Henriquez, I believe that's the one, and Landon Knack. So of the 13 pitchers the Dodgers have thrown out there, only 4 of them have been able to, been touched by the Mets. Everyone else has put up zeros. And I mean, we're talking about like Jack Flaherty, 7 innings, no runs in his start. Ben Casparius, 3 innings. And I mean, I don't know how to pronounce that name. I've heard it a bunch now, but still can't pronounce it. Blake Trinan, 2 1/3, shut down. Evan Phillips, 1 1/3. It's been the guys. Really, Walker Buehler had 4 shutout innings in his start as well. So it's really tough right now for the Mets. And, there's some nice pieces that the Mets have building off of next year. I mean, Mark Vientos is really looking like he's going to be the next Mets star for that franchise, one of the faces there. Especially if Pete Alonso does step away from the Mets this season. He's been phenomenal this postseason, probably the best player for the Mets, up and down the lineup. I mean, whether you want to talk about pitching or hitting, he's been the guy that's been around so many great moments for the Mets in this offseason or in the postseason here. Obviously guys like Pete Alonso's had a couple clutch home runs. Lindor's been around in the mix as well. But Vientos, he has the grand slam in Game 2. He had the game-tying home run against the Phillies the day that they lost on the Castellanos walk-off. But still, those are the moments. This has been the guy right now that's kind of been, showing up last minute. He's been a huge part of this Mets team batting second. The pitching's been nice, but they got beat around a little bit in this series here this week specifically. Jose Quintana gives up a couple runs. Severino gives up a couple of runs. Sean Manaea, he's got the balls to go, 7 innings deep and provide that for his team. He pitched Game 2. He went 5 innings, gave up the 2 earned runs. And I mean, still striking out 7, gave up the home run, but still there's an element of, okay, who's going to be the guy to stop this team? And the Dodgers are a very scary team. They go through Ohtani and Betts and Teoscar and Will Smith and Tommy Edman. And when you have production at the bottom of your lineup like they've been having, good luck, because if the guys in the bottom are getting on, Ohtani's hitting 3-run home runs, Betts are hitting 2-run home runs. It's the stars that will deliver in the moment, and that's what we've been seeing in this series. I look at this Mets pitching staff here, and I'm seeing the names of Sean Manaea and Severino, Quintana, David Peterson. The starters all season round have been great. They've looked good. I see these names, and I'm like, yeah, Sean Manaea, another good start. That makes sense. And I'm seeing it, these same names Just I'm not feeling like shut down. Here comes 7 innings, no runs. I'm not seeing that from these guys. I look at the bullpen, and I'm not seeing this guy's gonna hold the Dodgers right now in the eighth, in the ninth inning. A Phil Maton, a Ryan Stanek, a Reed Garrett, Jose Buto. These are guys that have had like months of the season where they were like untouchable, like just absolutely dominant guys in the bullpen. And then I'm looking at it now, and it's just like, oh, he's definitely giving up a run. Why is he warming this guy up? Kodai Senga, same thing. Like, obviously, he had one start in the regular season, and they're throwing him out there like he's supposed to be doing something. It's tough for him. So don't blame Senga. Edwin Diaz, yeah, he's your lock. He's your guy. He's your guy in the back end there. But even him, I'm not, like, super comfortable with. He got the save on Monday. But, I mean, overall, what are we doing here? Like, who's going to be the next, like, the guy to do something? They'll probably pitch Ryan Stanek today. They might throw out Edwin Diaz, of course, if they need it. Maybe Senga comes out of the bullpen. They're starting David Peterson, but we'll talk about that a little bit more when we get to the upcoming weekend here. But right now, if I'm the Mets, I'm a little bit worried because you guys can't hit the Dodgers bullpen. They've been practically unhittable. And you're giving up late runs to the Dodgers, and that's what's kind of making these games blowouts. 8-0 and 10-2. And these are the games you were home for. You're hosting the Dodgers. You're in your ballpark, Citi Field, and you've been outscored 18-2. And now you have to win games 5, 6, and 7. You have to win the next 3 straight games and sweep the Dodgers essentially to move on to the World Series. I mean, that's just a tough ask, It's a really tough ask here for the Mets. I would love to see this go to Game 6 at least. I hope the Mets can pull one out today and get a win. But down 3-1 in the series is a tough spot to be, especially when you're home today as well and you've been outscored 18-2. It's just very ugly. Just saying it out loud is giving me like, ugh. Like, really, Mets? That's how the season ends? All this magic and all those amazing moments against the Braves and the Brewers and the Phillies, and it's the Dodgers who are doing this to you guys, and it's just pretty unfortunate for the Mets. Hopefully they can turn it around, but it's looking like the Dodgers will be able to secure a spot in the 2024 postseason. All right, moving on. Guardians and Yankees. Let's talk about these guys because this series is starting up now. The ALCS Game 1 in New York. Alex Cobb on the mound for the Guardians. Carlos Rodon for the Yankees. The start of the ALCS. And the first run would come in the 3rd inning. It's Juan Soto that gets the party started. His solo shot gets the Yankees a lead, and it starts a wild inning as Joey Cantillo would allow 2 more runs to score on wild pitches for a 3-run Yankees inning. The very next inning in the 4th, Aaron Judge sac fly. It's 4-0 Yankees. Top of the 6th, the Guardians get on the board. It's Brian Rocchio who goes deep, his first postseason home run. And then the bottom of the 7th, though, Stanton right back. He gets a ball into orbit. He launches one. The Guardians get one in the 8th on a Stephen Kwan single, but that would be all. The Yankees come away with the Game 1 win, 5-2. Your final there. Game 2, it's Tanner Bybee versus Garrett Cole. A dropped ball by Rocchio is how we start this game. That allows Glaber to score. Bottom of the 2nd, Alex Verdugo doubles to add a run, and then Judge a sac fly. The Yankees are up 3. The Guardians, though, get a 2-run inning in the 5th. It's a Josh Naylor sac fly and a Will Brennan ground out. But in the bottom of the 6th, Anthony Rizzo, he doubles in a run to make it back to a 2-run lead for the Yankees. And then finally, in the 7th, Aaron Judge goes deep. His first home run of the postseason, a 2-run shot for some insurance. Jose Ramirez, he goes deep in the 9th, but it's too little, too late. The Yankees take Game 2 and have a 2-0 series lead heading to Cleveland. 6-3, your final there. And how about we just head to Cleveland to talk about this game? Game 3 of the ALCS. Clark Schmidt versus Matthew Boyd. Kind of a must-win if you are the Guardians, because going down 3-0 is no one wants to be in that position. Jose Trevino getting his first start of the postseason, and he makes the most out of it. He drives in a run in his first at-bat. That puts the Yankees up 1. But in the third inning, it's the rookie with all the power he's got. Kyle Manzardo launches a go-ahead 2-run home run to put the Guardians up for the first time in the ALCS. Cleveland has a lead. Andres Jimenez, he singles in 1 in the 6th to get some insurance for Cleveland, but it wouldn't matter. Stephen Vogt goes to his closer, Emmanuel Clase, in the 8th inning to face Aaron Judge with a runner on. Cleveland up by 2. It's Clase versus Judge, and Judge hits one deep to right field. It's a wall scraper, but it goes. He beats Clase, a 2-run home run that ties the game up. The very next batter, Giancarlo Stanton, and he hits one to deep center and gone. Back-to-back bombs from the Yankees. The Bronx Bombers, Judge and Stanton, flip this game and this series on its head. The Yankees have the lead in the 8th. They add one in the 9th on a sac fly, and we're looking to take a 3-0 series lead. But with a runner on, Stephen Vogt goes to his bench for Jhonkensy Noel, and he absolutely destroys the baseball. A moonshot in the bottom of the 9th with 2 outs on. Big Christmas comes through and makes it a ball game. 5-5 into extras we go. Avila holds the Yankees in the top half. In the bottom of the 10th, it's a runner on. It's 2 outs. It's David Fry launching one to left center, and goodbye baseball. David Fry, the walk-off 2-run home run. The Guardians win an instant classic game to get them back into the series. A potential season-saving home run and season-saving game. The Guardians win it 7-5 and get their first game in the ALCS. The series is 2-1 Yankees. Wow. Absolutely stunning game from the Guardians and from the Yankees yesterday. Just wow is the words you can use. A phenomenal game. Phenomenal game, top to bottom. Guardians lead. You know, things are looking good. You're bringing back Clase in, and the Yankees get him. And you're thinking the season's done. We're going to fall 3-0. There's no way we can win 4 straight against the Yankees. And then here you go. You bring in Jhonkensy Noel. You know, he hasn't been starting. It's a pinch hitter. Bomb. 2 outs in the 9th. He was that close to losing the game. Hits a game-tying home run. You bring it to extras. David Fry says it's my turn. Clutch home runs from the Guardians. A huge win. And I got to tell you, I feel like the momentum now almost is completely on Cleveland's side. I would be shocked if the series isn't 2-2 and if they don't win today. That game was huge. Absolutely electric moments in this game. And it kind of goes to show a little bit with Aaron Boone and kind of what he's been doing. Jhonkensy's home run, that was against Luke Weaver. David Fry's walk-off was against Clay Holmes. Both of the guys have come into all 3 games, and the more you start to see these relievers coming into each and every single game, the more they eventually got. So, Luke Weaver, Clay Holmes, both used in Game 3. And on all 3 games of the series. So if you're Boone here, I'm not sure you try to, pitch both of them today for Game 4. Maybe you just pitch one, or hopefully you either get a blowout or you guys get blown out so you don't have to start him at all. or pitch him at all because, I feel like they're, got to get a day into their system to regain some of that. It's hard to come back after giving up walk-off home run, the very next day to come in and just be like, yeah, if you need me for 2 innings, I won't give up a run. Cleveland's on them right now, and what they're seeing from them, how they hit those home runs, that information is getting talked around the dugout. So, a little tricky there. Let's talk about Emmanuel Clase, because the whole season, dominance, absolute pure perfection from Clase, and it's October now, and it's the postseason, and he's not it. It's just not happening. All season round, he pitched 74 and a third innings pitched. He had an ERA of 0.61, and he gave up 2 home runs all season long. And now in the postseason, he's pitched 6 innings, and he's given up 3 clutch home runs to Kerry Carpenter, Judge, and Stanton. And I mean, the Carpenter one, it's a 0-0 game. That 3-run home run wins it for the Tigers. That's close. This game, if it wasn't for Noel, if it wasn't for the Guardians offense to back him up, that Judge home run ties the game. That Stanton one essentially would win them the game if they didn't come back and win this one. And that makes it 3-0, and that's pretty much the season. You wouldn't really see Clase anymore. I don't know what's going on with him, but he's got to figure it out, because he's been that dominant guy for the bullpen for the Guardians. They have a great bullpen, even without Clase, but I mean, we need to see these guys throughout the season. We've seen it from Clase for a long time. He comes into the series and he gets got really badly, and that's not kind of how you want to start your ALCS this year. Hopefully Clase can rebound. Hopefully he can remember that he's going to be the reliever of the year for the AL. He was amazing. It's time to kind of, refresh a little bit, hit yourself with a little software refresh update, whatever it takes to get him back, because the Guardians need him, and they need him now. That bullpen, yeah, you got Hunter Gaddis, yeah, you got Cade Smith, who's been phenomenal, Tim Herron. The bullpen's been great, Eli Morgan, and Pedro Avila. So there are names there. There are names that have been good and helping the Guardians, but Clase has been so perfect, so dominant, and you need him to be at his best right now, especially, 2-1 in the series. You're going to get some close games with these Yankees. You're going to need to come away with those wins, and if you're up 1 run with, facing Judge and Stanton and Soto and these guys that can get you, and they get you, you got to take a quick look in the mirror and say, okay, how am I going to refresh this? How am I going to, come away with these wins, because my team needs it. The Guardians are going to need today. Today is a huge game. And if they fall this one, they're in the same position as the Mets, and then we really start to look like we have a Yankees-Dodgers World Series. It really is. As much as yesterday was a much-needed win for the Guardians in an amazing game, they have to do it again today. They got to come out, be on their best, and start the game hot, get a couple runs early, and try to hold them from there. That's going to be the key for the Guardians today. So something to keep your mind on. So if you're watching some baseball today, Guardians and Mets need these wins today. Speaking of the wins today, let's take a look at the season. What am I saying? Let's take a look at the games coming up for the weekend here. So today is Friday, NLCS Game 5 on at 5:08 Eastern Standard Time. Jack Flaherty, after pitching 7 strong, no runs allowed in his first game against the Mets, he'll look to clinch the series for the Dodgers and help them get to the World Series. And on the Mets side, it'll be David Peterson, who's been so dominant this postseason, making his first start of the postseason. He's been dominant out of the bullpen. How will he be as a starter? He looks to save the Mets series season for the first game of what will need to be 3 straight Mets wins. So that is at 5:08 p.m. today, Eastern Standard Time. And then later on, it's 8:08 Eastern Standard Time, Yankees and Guardians for Game 4. Luis Hill versus Gavin Williams, both making their postseason debuts. Young kids, young rookies. And it's kind of a must-needed win. If the Yankees, you want to win this game to be up 3-1 and feel confident and just need one of the last 3 games. If you're the Guardians, you want to turn this into a 3-game series. You win this game, hey, best 2 out of 3. Go get them. So big games coming up for today's on the docket here. Then tomorrow, it is Saturday, and it is Game 5 of the ALCS. A same start time at 8:08 Eastern Standard Time. It will be Carlos Rodon for the Yankees. The Guardians are TBD, and I think it will be determined whether they win or lose today. If the Yankees win today, then guess what? Tomorrow's game, that's a clinching game for the Yankees. They'll look to head to the World Series. If the Guardians win today, then that Game 5 is huge because the winner of that will be up 3-2 in the series and have an extra game to lose if needed before that winner-go-home Game 7 if it ends up getting to that point. And then on Sunday, if the Dodgers aren't able to win today, then we have Game 6. The Mets have won 1. They'll need to win 2 more. They'll look to win Game 6. These starters are both TBD, and of course, we need to see if the Mets can make it to Game 6 first. They have to win today against Jack Flaherty and the Dodgers to get to that point. Those are the 4 games, potential for at least 3 to 4 games that will be done for the weekend here. Which means on Monday, we'll either be talking about how the Mets have won the last 2 games and how, all of a sudden it's winner go home Game 7 coming up. We'll be talking about potentially how the Guardians are now 3-2 in the series, or how the Yankees are 3-2. Or maybe we're talking about the World Series preview against the Dodgers and the Yankees. So who knows what Monday's episode is going to be about. Only time will tell. We got 3 games this weekend, and that is going to do it for us here today. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you everybody so much for listening. I hope, you enjoyed today's episode and some great baseball to come here. The championship series is rolling right on through, and we've got pretty much this weekend to kind of determine how things will look. But then, worst case scenario, next week, Friday, we'll be having a World Series preview, either Monday or Friday, depending on how this weekend goes. Thank you, everybody, so much, and I will see you on Monday.